You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a new injury facing the Chicago Bulls because this is Chicago. And also, what the heck is going on with Matas Buzelis? What are the Bulls doing? We're talking about all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central's YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet does win. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. What's going on, y'all, man? Let's get into it, man. So it came out later yesterday that there is a new abdominal injury to Zach LaVine, which now puts him playing in tonight's game a little bit in question. Now, this is just the latest of a string of injuries for the Chicago Bulls. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be a Bull season if we made it through without some injuries, especially to Zach LaVine. Now, this does not seem like anything overly serious, so I want to be clear there. And this medical staff, unlike previous medical staff for the Bulls, does get a benefit of a doubt for me to a degree, right? I think they've done a really good job. It's an abductor strain. My bad, I said abdominal strain. That may be the same thing. I don't know. But this medical staff has done a really good job at trying to make sure that they take care of everybody. If they have anything that could turn into anything lingering, they tend to sit them down. But it is another injury to Zach LaVine. This joins his shoulder and things like that. He is questionable for today's game, so he's not listed as out right now. So that's the plus side here. And we've seen, for example, Jalen Smith was listed as questionable. He played. Patrick Williams has been listed as questionable. He played. This, if I'm getting a feel for what this means for the new medical staff, when he lists somebody as questionable, it just kind of sits out to me like that they want to see how his pain threshold is before the start of the game. They'll make that decision around shoot around. And I'm not too mad at the Bulls playing it a little bit safe with their players. We haven't always been a franchise that has done that has played it, really safe with our injuries. But of course, it starts bringing its own concern, right? We got Patrick Williams who's dealing with something. Jalen Smith still dealing with his injury. Lonzo Ball's out for a number of games, right? Still about 5 or 6 games we're going to be without Lonzo Ball. You add Zach LaVine to this. It's just another one, right? When it just comes down to it, unfortunately, that, this is the way that the season goes, right? Now, injury to Zach LaVine is huge for the Bulls. Like, Zach LaVine has been really on point for the Bulls this season. He's really stepped it up on both sides of the ball. His efficiency is really good. Zach LaVine shooting some of the best efficiency splits that he's shot in quite a while is Zach LaVine. And so replacing what Zach has brought to this team with his 22 points per game, the leading scorer again for the Chicago Bulls, yes, Coby White's ready to step into that role as he did last year. But if Zach LaVine does miss, some time, you got to see Zach LaVine right now is actually averaging the highest true shooting percentage of his career at 64.8%. That's crazy. And his usage rate really isn't too much higher than last year. That goes to the Bulls kind of sharing the ball, getting everybody involved. Him, Coby, and Vooch are all averaging right around the same number of shots per game. Zach LaVine's just been really, really efficient when it's come down to it. And you got to love what we've seen from Zach LaVine. 45% from three-point range, which is, again, the highest mark of his career. And he's taking the most threes he's had, the second most threes he's had in his career. So we saw Dosunmu, Coby White really step into large roles. Dosunmu took on such a large scoring role last season that he hasn't really lived up to this season. So, of course, if Zach LaVine's going to miss some time, maybe Ayo can step that back up, right? But then again, you're not going to start Ayo and Coby as your backcourt like you did last year because you have Josh Giddey here now, right? So it does offer a dynamic that Billy Donovan and his coaching staff are really going to have to figure out because, Dalen Terry, while, solid defensively, not even close to sniffing the offensive player Zach LaVine is. Julian Phillips, while his shooting numbers are solid as far as percentages, he's another player that is more defense and energy than it is. And maybe you're not looking for anybody to replace the scoring of Zach LaVine per se. Maybe it's by committee. Maybe you rely more heavily on Vooch and Coby White. They get maybe closer to 18 shots in a game where Zach LaVine's gone. But Zach LaVine, if he does miss time, I want to be clear here. It's still an if he misses time. It's still something major for this Bulls team if that does end up happening. So let's talk Bulls. Shout out to Quentin says, I'm sad. It's sad to see Zach has actually playing in the flow of the offense. Zach is real. Like, you're right, 100%. I don't know if it's from Zach LaVine wanting to prove that he can fit in within the flow of the offense. You know, that a lot of us as Bulls content creators and Bulls fans, we all kind of looked at how the Bulls played without Zach LaVine last year. And of course, Zach LaVine got some of the heat from that, right? So, you know, that comes down to it as well. And Zach LaVine has been bought in. LaVine's been bought in. He's played well. He's given effort defensively. You know, he still has his shortcomings defensively because he's just not a great on-ball defender, and that IQ is lacking. But Zach LaVine has been an important cog to the Chicago Bulls team for the entirety of this season. Winton says the Bulls just got to have the next player up mentality. Yes, but the next player up mentality only gets you so far, right? Because you still need skill. So, yeah, it's good to have the next player up mentality. That's great. You want to have that on your team. You want a team full of people that like, hey, whatever you need me to do, I'm ready to do it. But you still don't replicate the skill, right? That's just a reality of it. So, not going to replace the offense with Zach LaVine, but you can improve the defense, and that's something that's great. Like, when you look at it, the Bulls starting lineup, if there's been any huge deficit by this Bulls starting lineup, it is the defense, right? So if you're inserting a better defensive player in there, you don't necessarily have to have as much firepower offensively, theoretically, right? And then especially against a team like the Utah Jazz, the Jazz are the only team in the NBA not averaging at least 100 points per game. The only team. So if you're going to sit Zach LaVine for any type of rest and you don't need his scoring, this would be the game against the Utah Jazz. Again, this is all theoretical and on paper. They're also, Lauri Markkanen is mentioned as questionable as well. So if you can do that, keep in mind the Bulls play again on Wednesday. So if you're able to get Zach LaVine from playing Friday to rest Wednesday, you know, that's what you're going to try to do. And because the Jazz have not been this offensive prowess of a team, right? They haven't been efficient. They haven't been putting up a lot of big numbers. Jordan Clarkson's out. Lauri's questionable. So there's a lot of reason to think that the Bulls can weather, if any game this season, you can weather the storm, especially considering the Bulls do play Dallas on Wednesday. And that's the game where you're going to need all hands on deck. All hands on deck offensively and defensively against that Dallas Mavericks team because, oh, by the way, Klay Thompson is playing pretty good after some people doubted Klay Thompson, right? Quentin, the issue with the next man up mentality is that they don't have a 3-level scorer like Zach on the bench. And that's the thing, right? So, yeah, the next man up mentality is great. You want to have that on every team, but it still changes the way that you play. It'd be different if we were bringing another guy that was a 3-level scorer, but maybe didn't have the efficiency of Zach LaVine, or maybe wasn't as good, but had the ability to score at all 3 levels. But the Bulls don't have that. So it really changes that offensive dynamic and flow that the Bulls have been in because they have been in an offensive flow. And it's been a really good offensive flow. When you look at the way that the shot breakdown has happened for the Chicago Bulls, this is the thing that I really love that Billy Donovan has done, and it's been an effort. And in part, you got to give it up to Josh Giddey as well as being a guy who's leading the team with assists, all the point guards, even when Zoe's out there. But Zach LaVine has 15.5 shots. Coby White is right at 15 shots. And Nikola Vucevic is at 14.5 shots. And with Vucevic's efficiency, right, that's something that's really important there. Vooch is leading the team in scoring efficiency out of all the scorers that have played enough to qualify. Other than that, Jalen Smith is right there as well, but he's a bench player. But so the efficiency is another aspect of that. If you can be more efficient in how you run your offense, it can definitely happen for you. Tonight is a perfect Coby and Io game. Is it? I guess so, right? I mean, against the Utah Jazz, really, you're kind of more so looking at the size that they have down low with Kyle Filipowski still there, Walker Kessler there, those type of players. So they have some size out there at the 4 and 5. But again, yeah, I think you're right out on the perimeter. Maybe this is a game that you can get away with as well, starting Io at the 3. So having a Josh Giddey, Coby White, Io Dosunmu, 1, 2, and 3. Maybe you can get away with that. If that's what the Bulls can against this one game, cool, right? So if I'm not mistaken, Cody Williams has been starting at the 3 for the Utah Jazz. You have Kyle Filipowski there at the 4 if Lauri Markkanen can't go. And Cody Williams as a rookie, I trust that Dosunmu can guard Cody Williams. I think that he can. So, we'll see how that works out for this team. Overall, it's something that the team is just going to have to overcome. You're going to have to overcome it. And we'll see, because I think getting Zach LaVine rest if he is banged up, that's an important thing that you need to get done. And we'll see if the Bulls can do it and how they weather this storm tonight if Zach LaVine does not play. But all right, we're going to go ahead and get into the next thing. What the heck are the Chicago Bulls doing with Matas Buzelis? We're going to get into that. First, we got to get into a message from BetterHelp. All right, Bulls fans, you guys know I am a huge proponent of mental health, and this month is all about gratitude. And you know who's somebody that we don't tend to thank enough? That's ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything, and in the crazy world, that isn't easy. By the way, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out the brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. I cannot stress this enough. The ability to be able to switch therapists is a huge asset of BetterHelp. Finding the right therapist is just like finding the right doctor, finding the right backcourt mate for the Chicago Bulls and Josh Giddey and Coby White. It's hugely important. And with us all being Bulls fans, we all need to do a better job at taking care of our mental health, because we know that this team is extremely stressful. So while this is the month of gratitude and we can be grateful for the Chicago Bulls coming out of this season a little bit better, don't forget to give yourself some grace, and BetterHelp is a place where it can help you find that grace for yourself. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Bulls fans. So this was an interesting weekend when it comes to Matas Buzelis, right? And just to go over what happened for those that may not know what happened, is that the Chicago Bulls assigned Matas Buzelis to the G League on Saturday. About 24 hours, it's about 24 hours to the minute. Later, that they actually announced they recalled Matas Buzelis from the G League. Now, there could be a couple of reasons why, and I want to spend some time talking about the reasons why this could have happened. The Windy City Bulls did have their training camp over this weekend in preparation for them to start their season, I believe, on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken there. And so this could have been an opportunity to get Matas Buzelis a couple of extra, training camp moments, time to sit down with coaches, work on his game. Because keep in mind, teams don't have a lot of practices once the season starts. They have shoot-arounds, but not a lot of practices. But then the other part of this came into play, right? And the fact that Zach LaVine's injury was announced about 20 minutes after it was announced that Matas Buzelis was recalled from the G League, that this could be an opportunity that the Bulls saw to say that, hey, if Zach does sit against the Utah Jazz, that means that either Ayo, Julian, or Dalen are going to have to move into that starting lineup. So this is actually an opportunity for Matas Buzelis to maybe play more 10 to 12 minutes coming off the bench than his usual 6. And we want to see what he looks like there. So there's those two kind of those two things that are out there in the back of my mind on why he could have been recalled too quick. It could have just been to go to training camp, have training camp with those guys. It could be because he's going to actually get an opportunity to get more minutes today. But it raises a larger question when it comes to Matas Buzelis, right? And this is a question that a lot of Bulls fans have had for years, is what the hell is the plan for Matas Buzelis? And I think it's important for a rookie that's really raw like Matas Buzelis for there to be a development plan, right? And I'm not somebody who I think it's a huge slap in the face or it's a knock for Matas Buzelis to go down to the G League, because what do you need to increase and work on your game? You need reps. What is Matas Buzelis not getting playing 6 minutes at the NBA level? He's not getting reps. He's averaging less than 1 shot per game. So the G League offers an opportunity potentially for Matas Buzelis to go down to the G League, for them to, if he's assigned, they're going to be focused on giving Matas every opportunity that he can have. Meaning he's going to get about 15 shots per game. He's going to play about 20 to 22 minutes, and he's going to be given an opportunity to work on his shot, fix that jump shot, right? Work on the motor, put on some weight, adjust to the size thing, right? That's similar to what we saw with Julian Phillips. Now, Julian Phillips only ended up playing 4 games in the G League last year before he was recalled and actually put back on the roster and put in the games. But this is a team where I get that a lot of people are excited to see Matas. And it's been a long time since we had a rookie that we've been this excited about, right? And so I get and understand Bulls fans like, oh, no, we got to play him. Oh, we should bench P. Will for him. Oh, my God, he should be playing. The fact of the matter is, regardless if we wanted to or not, this is not a tanking Bulls team. And no, wake-up call, Matas Buzelis is not better than Patrick Williams yet. Is his potential higher? Absolutely. Will he be better than Patrick Williams? He damn well better be better than Patrick Williams, right? But he's not better than Patrick Williams yet. He's not an efficient shooter. He's not an efficient defender. Yes, he has some good weak side blocks. He gets in the passing lane. He gets some steals. But again, those things aren't more valuable right now for this version of the Bulls team than on-ball defense. So no, Matas Buzelis is not yet ready or he's not yet better than Patrick Williams. He may not yet be better than Julian Phillips, especially as a shooter or a defender. Now, I do think he will be better, right? And that's part of the question here is, what is the plan with Matas Buzelis? What are you doing with him? Because he is too good, has too much of the mindset, and he's drafted too high for us to be playing willy-nilly with Matas Buzelis. If part of his development plan is going to the G League, that's cool. I can get with that. I know that's not for every Bulls fan, but I can get with that. But this thing of, oh, we're going to play in 5 minutes here. Oh, we're going to send him down for a week. Oh, he's going to get called up. He's not going to play when that does not need to happen. We cannot Marko Simonovic this thing with Matas Buzelis. We just can't do it. So whatever the plan is, whether it's to keep him in the G League so he can work more in depth with Peter Patton day in and day out, whatever that is, there just needs to be a plan. And right now, it doesn't seem like there's a plan. Now, there may be, right? But I'm just going off what we know so far. There does not seem like there is a focused plan on what do you want to do to develop your rookie you just drafted 11th overall. Give credit to get him in games. He got into 5 of the Bulls' first 6 games. Credit to that. I got to give that credit because that's not always what this coaching staff has done. It's not always what this franchise has done. But if it's that he's not bringing something that he needs to get more minutes, it's that if you want him to be able to work more in depth on certain aspects of his game, that's great. But then stick to that plan. Let's not play this up and down thing with Matas Buzelis. He is too good with too much potential to do that, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And we'll see. Reginald says, does Matas have the foot speed to guard Lauri for any length of time? I think he has the length. I don't know about the foot speed, but I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying that I don't know. To be fair, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Matas Buzelis guarding the type of 4 that Lauri Markkanen is to say that he does. But then again, it's not like Lauri has the quickest foot speed either. So he could very well, right? I don't have an issue with Matas earning minutes, but when he is out there, it feels like we are just playing him like we did with Lauri. They have to have him spotting up in the corner. They just have him spotting up in the corner. Listen, and that's the point of having a plan, right? Having a plan for Matas Buzelis, because I agree with you. There's not much development to be done by just sticking somebody in the corner and saying, hey, shoot it when we get it to you. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily what they're doing, but I'm just saying that there's something to be said there. Edwin says, F with you, Haize, but you say the kid's not better than P. Will's question. No, he's not. I'm sorry. He's not better than P. Will yet. He's not better. Go look at Lauri's shooting splits in the G League. They were worse than what Patrick Williams is shooting right now in the NBA. He's definitely not as good of a defender. You're trying to tell me that he's good of a defender? He's not. He's not. Now, in transition, I do think that Lauri will be more aggressive than Patrick Williams, but he's not better than Patrick Williams. Aggressiveness doesn't equal better. We got to be clear, and we talked about this. For example, THT is a more aggressive player than Patrick Williams, but you know what? Patrick Williams' averages have been better than, and that's why you see a player like Patrick Williams playing above THT. Aggression doesn't mean better. Aggression means that we look at you with the eye test and say, hey, that kid's out there getting it, but that doesn't mean that you're better. Not yet, anyway. Now, the key thing is you want to pair skill with aggressiveness. But just being aggressive, that doesn't mean that you're better. It does not mean that you're better. It just doesn't. So Imani Bates is an aggressive player. That doesn't mean that you're better, right? It doesn't. Antonio Blankley was an aggressive player. He sucked in the NBA level. You can be aggressive, and I'm not saying that's Matas. Matas does not suck. But the refined skill of Patrick Williams on the defensive side of the ball outweighs the aggressiveness right now that Matas Buzelis would bring to the court. It just does. I know Matas is a hot point of contention. He's got to develop, yes, but it would be better for him to be in the G League developing or throw him out there with the main guys to sink or swim. Well, that's the thing, though. This Bulls team is trying to win games, so they're not in a place to let him sink or swim. And that's why we're in this spot that we are, right? It'd be different if they were saying, all right, Matas, you're going to play 15 minutes, whether you get cooked defensively or whatever else, those are your 15 minutes, go out and play it. The Bulls aren't doing that. It would be different if the Bulls were to say, Matas, this is your 15 minutes. You got 8 shots over this. They're not doing that, right? He's just out there getting cardio in, basically. And so I think that it's greater as far as the benefit for him to actually go down there and refine specific skills in his game in the G League right now than to just be at the NBA level just getting cardio in. So, yeah, that's what I think happens. Let's see. You're not looking at what I said, bro. You're right, defense, but the kid takes action more than P will. He needs the CT, not the G. He needs to play through those hiccups, even if it's not big minutes. No, that's your, what does that do? If a player needs to work on their shot and you're just saying go out there and run around, that's still not a better benefit to the team that's trying to win basketball games. That's not that. And he's not that's not, again, that'll just be like saying, hey, we're not going to teach you anything at all on your job. We're not going to train you. Go out there and learn how to do CAT. Go out there and learn how to code. We're not going to give you anything. We're not even going to give you a keyboard. Go out there and get it done. No, you want to give somebody the tools. Going to the G League gives you the tools. You know what that does? That goes out there and says, we want you to take 5 3-pointers per game. We're going to run a pick and pop for you. We need you to shoot 5 3-pointers a game. That's better than just saying, oh, because you're aggressive. He's not better than P. Will yet. There's no way that you can cut that. He does not impact the game or will not impact the game the way that P. Will does defensively yet. P. Will got to be better offensively because he's been trash. But just being aggressive does not equal better. But we're going to continue this talking about the Bulls City Edition uniforms that were officially released. They were exactly what was leaked out. But first, we got to get into a message from FanDuel. All right, Bulls fans, we always like to thank you guys for tuning in, making Locked On Bulls your first listen and watch every single day. But we also got to talk to you guys about FanDuel. You guys know this is one of the most consistent sponsors here at Locked On because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. So get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. I can't stress enough how important that is. That is such a leg up for my people that like to bet, to be able to get all the information that you need to place an informed bet on the exact same page where you place your bets. It just streamlines the whole entire process. FanDuel is helping you guys out with that. You ain't got to go to ESPN and cleaning the glass or, pro football focus. You can get everything you need right on the same page where you place your bets. Plus, just visit FanDuel.com today to join today. And when you get started, you'll get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So that's if you win, you still place a smart bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Bulls fans. Last topic for today before we get up out of here. And that's the Bulls have officially released their City Edition jerseys. And this is, if you guys remember correctly, when the leaks of the jerseys came out, I said that I need to see the full uniform. I got to see the full uniform. I have to see the full uniform before I can make a decision, because much like with last year's City Edition, the jersey was okay. But when I saw the jersey with the shorts, the full uni, I liked it a little bit more. And the thing that I like about these jerseys a whole lot as well is that the Bulls in-season tournament, which is where they wear these jerseys, their court is still black and red. So this white and gold is really going to pop out. So if you guys are looking at this right now, right, I love the thing is that they use the font from the lettering from the original United Center and all of that. They even took the color palette you see here from the scheme based off the exterior of the United Center, right? So you love all of that. But I really like this with the shorts. The fact that they still didn't step away from the diamond design around the Chicago Bulls logo, I like. The fact they have this beige and kind of goldish outline crossing over there at the diamond as well, where the Chicago Bull logo is. I like this uniform. I like this uniform. I don't know if I'd rock the jersey just by itself, but the uniform I like. And the Bulls continue to have solid City Edition jerseys. I like this one. I like that they also are going outside the box with their City Edition jerseys. This is really nice. This is really nice. Now, it's still not my favorite at all, but I really, really like those uniforms this season. I think the Bulls done a really good job, and they continue to really bring something new every time to the City Edition jersey. I really like it, really like it. The stars of the Chicago flag on the side of the jersey is dope too. Love that part of it. Love that part of it. So I still think it kind of looks like the 21 white and gold Mavericks. Well, listen, at this point, Bulls for life, every jersey is going to kind of look like another jersey, right? I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong, but I think that's a big thing for it as well. But overall, I like the City Edition jerseys. I take a lot away from it that I like more than I dislike, and I can't remember the first time we're scheduled to wear them. I know it's this month in November. I think it's like November 11th or something like that. Hold on, let me look at the schedule. Yeah, I think it's that November 11th game against the Cleveland Cavaliers is the first time we're going to wear this jersey. So that's next Monday. You can look out for us to wear this jersey. So I really like that. But yeah, the Bulls keep doing their thing, man. But just wanted to go over the jersey because I didn't get to go over that over the weekend. I haven't even gone over that on Chicago Bulls Central yet. So there you guys go there, man. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me personally at CEO Haize. And oh, by the way, your favorite Bulls podcast, Locked On Bulls, now has a daily newsletter. You can go to lockedondaily.com to sign up for the Locked On Bulls official newsletter and get your daily dose of Bulls action. Typically, the newsletter drops in the morning, and then the podcast drops in the afternoon. So make sure you guys stay in tune for that. Man, I appreciate you guys so much for everything that you've done, especially as we've changed the show to be a live show in the middle of the day during the week. I love you guys, man. We'll be back live tonight after the game. I may even be bringing a guest with me. Tell Quentin the call up is coming. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See Red, y'all. Peace.